Good morning, welcome to this week's vlog, coming to you again from the department of Loir-et-Cher, where I was in a couple of weeks ago. If you remember Vendôme, the other Loire Valley. Here, this is the river Cher, so there's Loire in the north, Cher here in the south of the department. There's a few things coming up today. This is the village of Saint-Aignan. Up there on the hillside there is a beautiful collegiale. I was here a few weeks ago and I was very lucky, very lucky to be given access to go inside and up inside the collegiale. They let me go up where the organ is to look down the nave. It's absolutely stunning in there. There's also a stunning building anyway from whichever level you're at, whether you're at ground level or whether you are allowed, like I was, to go up. So as I said, there's a few things coming up today, places like this, not inside, I've already done it, but a few other churches and also castles and a viewpoint I found of a castle and a few other things, but I guess we'll see how the day progresses. But it's a beautiful morning, although it's another kind of clear day, which is a little bit frustrating. What can you do? It's just what it is. So yeah, but anyway, enjoy Saint-Aignan. What I'm going to do is just wait actually for the sun to come up, which is, I can see through the trees, is just coming up above the horizon. So the trees at the moment are blocking the light on there, but soon that will probably be glowing red. So I'll get that, and then just next to my shot, which you may or not be able to see, I can't remember if it's in the GoPro, there's also a castle, the old chateau there, the old castle of Saint-Aignan, and then the even older one as well, which you can see. So I'm going to do a shot which I've already got, get it with sunlight, and then I'm going to get a pano as well of this scene here, looking across. In any case, let's get going with Loir-et-Cher. Behind me is the Chateau De Shemeri. It's about 20 minutes drive from Saint-Aignan, where I was at first light this morning. Not difficult to see why I've come here. I think it's, when I was reading on the information, I think it was something, it's very interesting kind of architecture that is between feudal and Renaissance. So it's pretty old, probably about 400 or 500 years old, I think it is. So it looks really nice. However, it's actually quite tricky to photograph. You might be thinking, it's easy, isn't it? So, no, actually it's not. Where I've parked the car, which is just about 30 seconds that way, you would think that actually you could sort of take a shot looking at that angle. No, you can't. Actually, you have to come here to this angle here, what is the southeastern corner of the castle. It does pose problems. Behind the camera, you can probably see on me, is the sun. Therefore, because the sun's behind me, it casts shadows. But I'll show you actually on the back of my camera the dilemma you face at times and what you can do to try and hide it. There is the shot of the Chateau De Shemeri. Now, what is the problems? What are the problems that you're going to come across when doing something like this? Well, because the sun is this way, is basically right behind me, you can see these shadows being cast here. So therefore, of course, the sun is going to illuminate you and create your shadow in there. And what did I do? Well, I found a way of sort of melting into the shadows there, so that I'm not so visible and it looks as though it's still the tree branches. So that's one thing that I've done. The other thing is that I've put on the 17mm tilt shift. It actually takes a 17 to get this. I thought it was going to be the 24, easy, no problem, but it's not. You can use a 24 doing a vertical shot, portrait orientation, but not this particular angle if you want it as a landscape orientation. It's 17. Although it seems in a way quite far away, it's probably what, 20 meters away from the camera, it's still 17. But you know, this is what it is that you've got to do, is figure these things out. So it's also why I have more than one tilt shift lens, because it's so useful at times being able to pull those out the bag and go, that's the shot I really want. Now, I did try what would have been around sort of here, looking at this angle, but it doesn't really work. You really need a three-dimensional shot of this thing. Going this way, looking onto it, this angle here, looking from a southwesterly direction, looking northeastwards, it looks two-dimensional. Here, it looks three-dimensional. So that's the shot I've got. I'm going to have to do a bit of a blend because of the white stone than the sun that's brightly shining on it, but that's okay. Now from here I'm going to a place called Selles-sur-Cher. There's apparently a beautiful church to do, and also because the sun's up now and it must be, what, 8 o'clock, I'm hoping as well the church is open. I came here first, I wasn't going to come here first just because of the time, but now I'm going to make my way to Selles-sur-Cher, and there's a few other things coming up today, so stay tuned in. So I've been given special access to the bell tower of the church in Selles-sur-Cher. Now I'm not going to stay here too long because I've taken my photos, they're waiting for me to go down, but this shows you the little part of the job, the little privileges that I get doing the job that I do, and able to get access to different places by speaking another language. So actually just been frightened to death by the bell just going off at 9:30, just like being that close to the bell when it goes off, it's just like woof. So maybe I'll show it to you in a minute as to the previous segment that I was filming, and which makes me jump about 10 feet in the air. But yeah, it looks amazing up here. The view is not bad, but yeah, to be given access here, I'm really, really privileged and very thankful to the town hall of Selles-sur-Cher. I've come to a castle, let's say castle in inverted commas. For some people it's probably a more stately home. It's called the Chateau De Vil Borgia, if I remember rightly, and it looks quite nice at the moment. There's a bit too much wind actually going across the lake that's in front of the castle here, but I got it just before I started vlogging and I was able to get the reflection. But it's actually really nice. Now it is the middle of the day, it's coming up, must be about 11:30 or so, so yeah, it's a little bit harsh light, but actually that doesn't matter in some respects, because what's useful at times is just to come to somewhere to get an idea of some places to go. You know what, that's there, I know if I'm there earlier in the day, earlier in the morning, that I can get there. So now what I'm thinking, for example, is the sun is directly up there above my left shoulder, and it means that at any time of the year and any time of the day this photograph will work, because for example looking that way is directly north, so it doesn't matter if sunrise, for example, on a summer morning, on a winter morning, winter sunset, winter sunset that way, or summer sunset over that way. Maybe not summer sunset, but in the majority of times, probably 75% of the times and of the day, you can get here, you can get a really nice shot. It's beautiful building, it really is. There's no information board at all, so I'm guessing it's completely private property that you can't visit, but it's beautiful, it really is. And again, you know, I'm always saying, you know, do your research, and this is why when you do your research you find places like this. It's just by the side of the road, it's easy to get to. The weird thing is actually as well, it's not even marked on from any of the villages that I've come through, which is a bit strange. But I'm guessing it's not marked because it's private property. Although you do get some historic monuments that are private property, they'll still mark that they are here. But anyway, let's turn the GoPro around. You can see why it is that I've come here. It's a beautiful scene. And the really nice thing is it's so quiet. This is the Chateau De Vil Borgia, as I said, I think that it's called. You can see it's a beautiful building, it really is. And as I said, the weird thing is it's not marked on any map that it was here. Well, it is marked on maps, but it's not marked coming out of the villages to say that this castle is here. Don't understand why, actually, because it's beautiful. And certainly the position of it, it's right by the side of the road. Now, the composition that I've done, what I've tried to do, is basically not do a complete sort of mirror. It would be easy doing a mirror image of this place. And this is why I'm down low. The lower you go down, the more of the reflection that you'll get. But I'm basically, in my own photograph, you see you have 1, 2, 3 trees there. Mine cuts off there and then goes to about there. But you'll see in a minute when I flick it up. But yeah, as I said, it might be the middle of the day, but it's still beautiful to see. And I'm sure if you're a photographer, it doesn't matter if you're amateur or professional, I think you would stop here anyway. Just it doesn't matter what time of day it is, but it's beautiful. It really is beautiful out here. So, as I said, no tourists, nothing, just the sound of running water and the sound of birds. You should be able to see behind me there's an abandoned building. I was going along the road, which is about, what, 500 meters or so that way, and I looked across and I thought, you know what, I could make a nice infrared shot. It's quite bright, there's some nice cirrus cloud up there, there's the green grass here. I'm not in a field, and a cultivated field, so it's easy to walk across, and I found I could drive actually, just my car's just over there, so at least I could get up here without having to walk forever and a day just to get here. But I thought, well, let's see if it works. Now I have got a polarizer as well on front of it, because the sun is literally 90 degrees from the building. 24mm tilt shift on, and I'm just looking at this, put it in black and white. Now I had to fiddle around a little bit to get the exposure. It says 2 minutes, ISO 400 at f8. It looks to be sharp, which is something, that's always a good thing. What I don't need to do, what I do need to work out is how many stops is my infrared filter. I really don't know. It's not 10, that's for sure. It's a lot more than 10, but I don't know. But I'm going to find out in a minute. But just enjoy a little bit of black and white infrared here in Loir-et-Cher. Well, it's the end of the day, and this isn't actually going to be the last thing that I do. I want it just to be the last thing, because there is one more place that I want to go, but I don't know if I can re-vlog it, just because it's trying to find the time to vlog it. Maybe I will do, but I doubt it. Behind me, what you should be able to see, if I move out the way a little bit, is the Chateau De Shemeri. And here, of course, is the River Loire. We are still in Loir-et-Cher. It's a big department, and there's a lot to do here. Now, this castle up here is actually famous for its garden festival, which I believe takes place every May. That's when it will begin, and every single year it changes from what I understand. So I'm actually hoping to go there this year. Hopefully it will be open in May. Obviously there's lots of restrictions at the moment, but as you can see, it's a beautiful place to come to. But where am I? Actually, it's quite well hidden where I am. And I did come here a couple of days ago just to do a bit of a recce, but where I was the other day was actually about 50 or so meters that way, but you can't get there. Why? Well, because I'm on a riverbed, and so the Loire is rising and falling all the time, and therefore you can't expect to come down here and always get to the same spot that you got to the previous time that you were here. But I'm sure you'll agree that it's a beautiful spot to come down to. Now, it is actually probably the best spot that I found to photograph Chaumont-sur-Loire. There is another place that you can do it from, which is by the side of the road, but it's kind of okay. You don't really get a good profile of the castle, but that's really nice, that one there. The evening sun is on it, so it's a bit tricky with the exposure, because you've got that white stone, of course, which is being illuminated by the setting sun. If you leave it maybe another hour or so, if you've got to leave it about, I think, half an hour or so before sunset, it will glow nicely. But at the moment it's still looking quite nice, and I got here just in the nick of time the other day to get it glowing. But yeah, there you go. So again, this comes down to what I keep saying every week, week in, week out. If you do your research, if you find these places that are away from the norm, you'll find things from time to time that actually work really, really well. So this one for me is an absolute keeper. And I've got actually a drone shot that I want to do down the Loire. That's my last thing that I can do, so you might see it as the end footage. But in any case, enjoy Chaumont-sur-Loire. It's just 2470 on 70 at the moment to actually crop in a little bit more on the image there, but it's looking really beautiful, and I'm really happy with today to be given the access that I was given earlier on in Selles-sur-Cher, to be taken up where the bells were in the tower was just extraordinary. The extraordinarily good luck that I get at times. And then doing the nave. I mean, the nave is always nice doing it up high, but to be taken up into the bell tower and then also being frightened half to death by the bells as it struck 9:30. Maybe I'll put that in and you can see exactly what it was that happened as it just went off suddenly. I didn't really think that it was going to go off, but it did. In any case, there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed another look at Loir-et-Cher and seen that there is even more to the department than the other Loire Valley. See you next week, folks, sometime somewhere in central France. If you haven't subscribed already, please do down there and click on the notification bell when I'm uploading stuff, which is every Friday around 6 p.m. or so Central European time. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe and see you again soon. Well, if you're wondering where it is that I am, I'm in the bell tower of the church of Selles-sur-Cher. I've been given special access. I didn't expect to get up here. I wanted access to the nave, but they brought me up here to the top of the bell tower. It's absolutely amazing to be given access to photograph here. So I've taken some images of the bells that are up here, and I'm going to just go down in a minute. I don't want them waiting too long for me, but yeah, this is the perks of the job that I do. And this shows the difference, for example, between a YouTuber photographer and a professional.